I want to share with you how I was able to keep my stretch mark to barest minimum. Yeah, so it didn't occur to me that I'm supposed to make this video until last week. A friend of mine visited and told me, "Hey, Afoma, stretch mark Sigokwa." And I was like, "Oh, yes." She asked me what I did, and I told her, but I didn't tell her the comprehensive thing. But that is exactly why I'm here right now, to share my experience with you. So, I had a very beautiful, flawless, very beautiful, flawless skin growing up almost all my life. Then I had a very rapid growth when I was about 15, and I started noticing that I had stretch marks on my laps. So when I took in and my pregnancy progressed till about 4 months, I just decided to advise myself to be using coconut oil to moisturize my stomach, because in my naive opinion, I thought that the only part of my body that would stretch as a pregnant person was my stomach. So when it finished, right, I went to the stores to replace it, and the beauty person I saw advised me to get a sweet almond oil. Anyway, I got a sweet almond oil and was using it to lubricate my stomach. From the time my pregnancy was about 4 months till I gave birth. And as when I became about 7, 8 months pregnant, I started noticing that my lines of my stomach was stretching. Remember my story? I was applying it religiously on my stomach morning and night every day. So when my pregnancy progressed to third trimester, I started noticing that my stomach was stretching. Even though I used oil on it, I felt defeated, to say the least. I felt defeated. 3 weeks before I gave birth, right? I noticed that my laps were stretching as if somebody used cutlass to cut my laps. That's how bad my stretch marks was. Then I didn't care. The only thing I was interested in is in carrying my pregnancy happily and delivering a healthy baby. I wasn't interested in whether I had stretch marks or whether I didn't have stretch marks. So when I noticed that my laps were stretching, right, I started using the almond oil on my stomach and on my laps, right, until I gave birth. And 3 months after, 4 months after, I went to the market to see what I would do. So this is the scrub I used for my laps and my stomach, of course. And then this is the oil, Pampered Stretch Mark Oil. Yes, so those are the two things that I still have here that I use for my stretch marks. If you're wondering, my stretch marks look like somebody used cutlass to break into my stomach and into my thighs. That's how bad the stretch mark was. But when my friend saw me last week, she told me, "Hey, Afama, it was a stretch mark. This one is not to exaggerate anything." The only thing I used again on my stretch mark that, in my opinion, worked, right, is secret oil. This is secret oil. You remember it? The highly trusted essential skin oil. It's a product of Hades Andromedas. I just use this thing to scrub my stretch mark, right? 2 times a week, the scrub. And then every day that I showered, I would religiously apply my pampered stretch mark oil on my body. It was working, but it was working at a slow pace. That is the truth. It was actually working, but not as fast as when I started using secret oil. When I used secret oil, in less than 2 weeks, I saw a visible result. It was supposed to be for my face, like I was saying, but then one mind told me to use it against my stretch marks so that it might heal, it might not heal. Within 2 weeks of using secret oil, it's just something about 6 mil. This one now is about 125 mil. Secret oil is less than 10 mils, in my opinion. And I'll rub it against my hand, make it a little bit hot, and then use it on my laps and all. Within 2 weeks, the stretch marks disappeared. I mean, my skin is still stretched. It is now almost coming together, and then it is now the complexion of my hand. If you're wondering whether the almond oil worked, my stomach stretched, but it is still the same complexion of my body. So that unless you look at me with microscope, you won't even notice that my stomach stretched. It was my thighs, the places I was not really using the almond oil on, that stretched and gave me a different color. That if whether you look at me, whether you don't look at me, as far as I'm nude for you, you will notice that something is going on down there, right? So I feel like the almond oil worked. because the stretch mark I saw in my stomach when my stomach stretched was not as severe as the stretch mark I saw in my laps when my thighs stretched. This one worked, but not as fast as secret oil. That is how I was able to cure my stretch marks within 2 weeks. I'm going to see you in my next video. Till next time, love and light. Bye.